She's got dozens of unread messages on her phone, constant invitations, and men willing to do anything just to make her smile. And yet, only one man will actually stay on her mind. And no, it's not the most handsome. Not the most persistent either. It's the one who knows exactly what he's projecting. The one who walks with calm, speaks little, but carries the weight of a man who doesn't need to prove anything. Here's the hard truth. Women don't choose the most available man. They choose the most impactful one. And impact rarely comes from flowers or love declarations. It comes from firmness, contrast, and strategic absence. As Machiavelli once said, it is better to be feared than loved. In the realm of attraction, this means it's better to be respected for your selective presence than adored for your constant submission. You're about to understand why the man who gets chosen, even when she has everyone at her feet, doesn't chase, doesn't compete, doesn't shrink. He understands personal power, masters his emotions, and lives with such clarity that she sees no other option. It's either him or emptiness. In this video, you'll learn how to use mental strategies, subtle influence, and Stoic wisdom to stop being one more option and finally become the priority. Because among the many, only one is remembered. And it all begins with what he silently projects. 1. She has many options, but only one man stands out, what he projects. She's surrounded by notifications, likes, and invitations disguised as friendly chats. But amid all that noise, there's a specific kind of man she notices. He's not loud, not trying too hard, and yet, he stands out. He doesn't radiate desperation, he radiates presence. The kind of presence that doesn't need an introduction, because it's felt in silence. And don't be fooled, this isn't charm or some natural gift. It's cultivated, and it starts within. This man has figured it out. The secret isn't competing through noise, it's mastering silence. While others exaggerate to impress, he invests in self-worth. He respects his time, his energy, and himself. And it shows in his body language, his words, and especially in what he chooses not to say. Today's world rewards volume, but a woman's subconscious picks up on something far more powerful. The man who is a universe, even without an audience. He's not the hottest, not the funniest, doesn't drive the flashiest car, but he knows exactly where he's headed. And she feels that. When a man walks with inner alignment and clear direction, it hits differently. She may have 10 others in her DMs, but a man who lives with intention, focus, and integrity, that's magnetic. Silent, but impossible to ignore. And let's be clear, it's not about pretending to be hard to reach. It's about actually having your own life. He doesn't reply right away because he's deep in his training, reading, or building something. He's not dropping hints or begging for attention. His energy comes from within. And for that reason, any time spent with him holds more weight than hours with a man who has nothing going on inside. And yes, she feels that. Deeply. Have you noticed? The less you try to prove you're the one, the more she starts watching you. That's silent power at play. It's an energy that doesn't invade, it just exists. It fills the room and leaves an impression. When you control your emotions, your time, and your reactions, you're already steps ahead of the rest. She notices. She may not say it, but she does. And slowly, she starts comparing. The secret lies in subtle perception. In the way you enter a room and don't try to be seen, but can't be ignored. That doesn't happen overnight. But once you see the game for what it is, you start playing differently. And when you play differently, you become the exception. And every woman notices the exception, especially when he moves like he doesn't even know he's playing. 2. The art of not competing, how strategic unavailability creates desire. The man who's always available becomes predictable. And to a woman's mind, predictable rarely sparks fascination. What attracts, what intrigues, is the mystery of a well-measured absence. Strategic unavailability isn't about ignoring her, it's about valuing your own time. When he prioritizes his schedule, his growth, his rituals, he automatically signals that he's not available to just any energy. And that hits her subconscious in ways she can't explain. This kind of behavior triggers something ancient. The perception that he's already being pursued, not by other women, but by his own life. Training, reading, creative work, rest. Every part of his life competes for the space she's trying to enter. And he doesn't give that up easily. It makes the little time he does offer feel rare. And whatever is rare, becomes valuable. The game changes when a man learns to choose with precision. When a man lives with clear priorities, he develops what the Stoics would call Stoic self-esteem. He values himself because he knows his principles and defends them with action. He doesn't change his schedule just because she texted, "Hey." He doesn't cancel his workout for a last-minute invite. Instead, he invites her into his rhythm, and whoever wants to stay adapts. That kind of confidence doesn't need to be announced. It's felt. But be careful. Unavailability without presence becomes coldness. Balance is key. A woman needs to feel that even when you're not available, there's still space for her to feel seen when she's with you. That's where the art of presence comes in. Being fully there when you choose to share time. No phones. No distractions. No anxious energy. Only then does your absence become desirable, because your presence leaves a mark. And more than that, this man doesn't use unavailability as a game. It's simply the result of a life in motion. He's not playing hard to get. He's just busy becoming more. And ironically, that makes him easier to love. Because real love begins with admiration. And you can't admire someone who's always available. A man who knows how to say no with firmness, but with respect, triggers something deep in her, emotional security. If she senses you don't need her attention to feel worthy, she begins to wonder, maybe this man is different. And that question unlocks something far more powerful than temporary attraction, long-term curiosity. And when curiosity is activated, well, that's when the magic of communication begins. 3. She feels it. When you know who you are, the impact of masculine authenticity. There's a huge difference between a man who tries to please and a man who simply is. The first adapts to whatever room he walks into, constantly seeking approval. The second walks with calm certainty, effortlessly attractive. That calm, it comes from masculine authenticity, a man who knows his preferences, values, and limits. And more importantly, he refuses to trade them just to keep someone around. Machiavelli understood this well. It's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not. When you're whole within yourself, even your silence has authority. You don't need to impress, prove, or justify anything. And that disarms any woman used to manipulating the game with likes and compliments. Authenticity is an ancient language. It communicates what 1,000 words never could. And women, especially the emotionally intelligent ones, can instantly spot when a man is faking it. Men who constantly try to become what they think women want end up losing the very thing that draws women in, personal power. It's not about being rude, cold, or needlessly rebellious. It's about having opinions, tastes, and desires, and not adjusting them just because someone raises an eyebrow. Love classical music? Own it. Meditate and read daily? Show it. Hate nightclubs? Don't go. That's the real masculine presence. Being authentic doesn't mean closing yourself off from the world. It means opening up only to what aligns with your inner compass. And that extends to your conversations too. Instead of saying what you think she wants to hear, speak your truth. Ask real questions. Share bold opinions. Women are naturally drawn to men who challenge the norm and have no fear saying, "I disagree, and here's why." Authenticity also protects you from emotional burnout. When your actions match who you truly are, there's no energy wasted maintaining a mask. That frees you to build, grow, live. And when she sees that you don't need to pretend to be interesting, it builds rare trust. She may not even understand why she feels it, but she will. That's called subtle mental strategy, and it works better than any line. Men like this are rare, and that's why they're unforgettable. What makes a woman wake up thinking about you isn't some grand gift or clever emoji. It's that, in a sea of imitators, you were the one man who had the courage to be whole. And men who are whole leave others feeling incomplete. 4. Her mind responds to what you radiate, the invisible power of presence. You don't need to talk much to be noticed. Sometimes, simply folding your arms, holding eye contact, and listening with intention is enough to leave a mark. That's presence, a silent force that speaks before you even say hello. She might be surrounded by noise, but she'll always notice the one who moves with purpose. And that kind of man, she respects him, even if she doesn't fully understand why. Presence is about where your attention is. A present man doesn't check his phone every minute, doesn't talk over others, and doesn't mentally drift off mid-conversation. He anchors himself in the now. When a woman feels truly seen, really seen, she connects. And that connection is more powerful than any line. In today's overstimulated world, the ability to be fully in the moment is almost a superpower. And it's precisely because it's rare that it's so attractive. A man who has developed emotional security can be fully there, without rush, without trying to impress, just being. That kind of calm creates a magnetic field around him. Women can sense when a man's masculine energy is stable. It makes them trust. It makes them soften. And it only happens when she sees you're not there seeking approval, but simply sharing your essence. With time, that presence even changes the way you communicate without words. Your voice softens. Your pace steadies. Your eyes carry more depth and less anxiety. That's not magic, it's training. And it starts with simple habits. 5 minutes of daily meditation, slow conscious walks, eye contact, listening without preparing your reply. Little daily acts that build your silent power. And here's the beauty. Strong presence eliminates the need to compete. You don't have to raise your voice, interrupt, or dominate a room. You simply occupy space with coherence. It's what the Stoics called living by timeless principles, being fully in the now, doing what needs to be done, without drama. And that directly influences how people perceive you. Especially her. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't fall for what you say. She falls for what you awaken. And what stirs up real desire can't be touched, explained, or logically broken down. It's felt. And once you learn to master that, you don't chase anymore. Because now she's the one who starts chasing the feeling you leave behind. 5. You don't have to prove your worth. You have to recognize it. Most men lose themselves trying to convince a woman they're good enough. They send flowers, long messages, exaggerated promises, all in a desperate attempt to win her through excess. But what truly impacts her subconscious isn't the man trying to prove his worth. It's the man who already knows it. The one who doesn't need anyone's approval, because he's already convinced of his own value. When a man truly believes in himself, it shows in the way he walks, talks, decides. It's not arrogance, it's stoic self-esteem, a confidence born from discipline, self-awareness, and consistency. And that kind of confidence doesn't have to be announced. It's felt. And even if she doesn't fully realize it, a woman reacts to it. She senses that he's grounded, solid. And solid ground is rare and magnetic. The real shift happens when you stop asking, "Am I good enough for her?" and start asking, "Is this woman aligned with the life I'm building?" That little change in focus transforms everything. A high-value man doesn't bend just to fit, he filters. He's not out looking for any relationship. He's looking for one that adds to what he's already creating. That kind of selectivity doesn't push her away, it pulls her in. And it changes how he communicates too. He's not passive, not a people pleaser. He's direct, clear, respectful, and assertive. He practices assertive communication that speaks with presence and clarity. If he wants something, he says it. If he doesn't, he also makes that known. He doesn't bury discomfort to keep things nice. He honors his feelings. And that surprises her, because most men still live enslaved by the fear of being disliked. Self-worth isn't built with likes or outside validation. It's built in the daily grind. Waking up early when you'd rather sleep, finishing a task even when you're not motivated, strengthening the body, feeding the mind, and backing your words with action. And when those actions stack, day after day, a quiet internal power is born, one no one can take from you. That power is noticed, and once noticed, it's respected. And that respect, that he knows his worth, energy, that's when the game starts to shift. She begins to observe, to question, to wonder if, out of everyone, you might just be different. And when that doubt takes root, you don't need to say another word, because that's when influence starts shifting the dynamic, in quiet, irreversible ways. 6. The emotional contrast she can't resist, inner calm in a needy world. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And when a man lets his thoughts be colored by anxiety, urgency, or the need for approval, his presence weakens. But when he cultivates strength, values, and intention, everything around him changes. Women feel it, because in a world of reactive men, the one who controls his emotions shines like a lighthouse. Emotional contrast happens when chaos surrounds you, and you stay calm. When she provokes, tests, pulls away, and you respond with grace. That's not coldness, it's emotional security. It's showing her that your life center isn't dictated by her mood, but by your own internal compass. And that calmness, without arrogance or harshness, creates the best kind of tension, curiosity. She starts wondering what's behind that quiet strength. While most men react, a man with mental strategy responds. He doesn't play emotional ping pong. He doesn't panic when ignored. He knows the value of silence, time, and observation. And that kind of maturity isn't silent, it's loud in its own way. It's felt when he simply says, "It's all good," and moves on, with peace in his eyes. And suddenly, it's her who starts chasing. This kind of inner calm creates a direct contrast to what many women are used to: emotionally unstable, impulsive, and overly attached men. When someone shows up who doesn't crumble over a delay or a passive-aggressive comment, she takes notice. And that's personal power in action. When it's combined with kindness and emotional maturity, it doesn't just attract, it leaves a memory. But here's the key: you can't fake this contrast. You don't act calm to impress. You are calm because you've trained yourself to be. That level of peace comes from daily virtue, consistent learning, caring for your body, and guarding what you consume, books, media, and people alike. That quiet discipline is what fuels your silent power. And when she feels that, when she realizes that, despite being beautiful, popular, and surrounded by options, you're the only one not dancing to her tune, that's when she starts looking at you differently. Because maybe, just maybe, you don't need her. And that's exactly why she starts needing you. 7. Connection without begging. The secret to reaching deep without lowering yourself. Men who try to force connection always come across as heavy. They push for intimacy, rush for answers, expect reciprocity too soon. But true connection isn't born from pressure, it comes from lightness. The kind of man who truly captures her interest is the one who has his own life, yet still chooses to share parts of it. And that choice, not need, is what hits her differently. A woman knows when you're there from abundance, not emptiness. And that changes everything. You can send a simple message like, "Sleep well, tomorrow the world awaits you," and it'll land deeper than 10 overthought paragraphs from a needy charmer. Why? Because it came from someone with inner alignment, not someone trying to buy affection. And what's light but real becomes unforgettable. The key is knowing that you don't need to prove your value in every interaction. Sometimes the deepest connection comes from well-placed silence, from listening attentively, from laughing freely. Small gestures from a man at peace with himself. That's the mark of masculine authenticity. A man who isn't trying to seem like something. He simply is. And in today's world, that alone is revolutionary. This man knows that connection isn't demanded, it's built. And that takes time. Not every silence is rejection. Not every delay means disinterest. Sometimes, just holding your posture and living fully is enough for her to feel your presence, even when you say nothing at all. That's advanced strategy, quiet and rare, but undeniably felt. Here's the most powerful part. When you refuse to beg, you make space for her to come to you. And when she comes willingly, not under pressure, the connection is real. What's desired, not forced, always grows with more truth. And that growth happens when there's presence, not insistence. Stability, not anxiety. Silence, not need. So if the question is, how do I go deep without losing myself? The answer is simple: don't lose yourself. Be the kind of man so aligned with who he is that anyone connecting with him automatically feels safe. And emotional safety? That's what creates the deepest bonds, even if she doesn't consciously understand why. You can keep being just another guy trying to impress her, or you can become the one she simply never forgets. The difference isn't in what you say, it's in who you are when no one's watching. The man who gets chosen doesn't beg. He doesn't force. He doesn't play games. He walks with purpose, lives with honor, and radiates something no words can capture: presence. So tell me, are you ready to stop chasing and start attracting? Are you still bending just to please? Or will you finally align with what really matters: your truth, your value, your path? The choice is yours. But remember this: while most are busy fighting to be noticed, the man with personal power is simply chosen. Drop a comment. I don't compete. I get chosen. I want to see who's truly ready to own his worth. If this video hit you deep, give it a like. It helps this message reach more men who need it. Share it with a brother stuck in the cycle of needing approval. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, so you never miss how Stoicism can reshape how you love, live, and lead.